So in this video, we are going to discuss about power diode. So this is the very basic component of power electronics. We know that diodes have a variety of applications. They can be used in rectifiers, converters, in voltage regulators, etc. Especially in the case of power electronics, this diodes has a lot of applications. And there is a special type of diodes which is called power diodes, which are designed for performing these applications coming under the power electronics. Okay, so we are going to discuss about the power diodes in this video. Okay, so power diodes, you can see the symbol of a power diode is exactly the same as that of a normal diode only. But if you see the inner structure, that is a layered structure of a power diode, it is actually different from that of a normal diode. Okay, so this power diode is actually having some power handling capabilities, and also it is having a special process called, or it is having a special capability called reverse recovery. This property can be used for performing of various applications or performing of various functions which are coming under the power electronics. Okay, so this is the layered structure of a power diode. In normal diode, we can see only two layers, P and N, right? But in power diodes, this is the structure. So it is having a P plus layer, there is an N minus, and then there is a N plus. That is, the P plus and N plus layers are actually separated with the help of a N minus layer. Okay. The terminals are, there is an anode and then there is a cathode. The anode terminal is in the P plus region. The cathode terminal we are taking out from the N plus region. Now let us see the thickness and the doping of various layers. First, let us see the case of P plus layer. So the P plus layer is actually a heavily doped region and it is acting as anode. And the thickness of this region is approximately up to 10 micrometer, and the level of doping is 10 raised to 19 centimeter raised to minus 3. Okay, so this is the thickness and this is thickness and this is the level of doping. So this is the case for a P plus layer and it is acting as anode. Okay, next, the N minus layer, it is actually the middle layer. It is lightly doped. Okay, and it acts as a middle or the drift layer, and the thickness of this layer depends on the breakdown voltage, and the level of doping is 10 raised to 14. So 10 raised to 14 centimeter raised to minus 3 is the level of doping. And the thickness of this layer is actually depending on the breakdown voltage. So for whatever breakdown voltage the diode is being designed, the thickness of this N minus layer is varied accordingly. Okay, so that is the case for a N minus layer. And here, if the width of this layer is increased, the breakdown voltage of the diode will also increase. Okay, so that is a relation. So the thickness of N minus layer is directly proportional to the breakdown voltage. Okay, breakdown voltage. So when you are going to increase the thickness of this layer, means the breakdown voltage will also increase. Okay, now next, the last layer, which is the N plus layer. N plus layer is actually acting as cathode. So this is the middle layer, which is the drift layer or the intermediate layer. N plus layer is the cathode region and it is the again a heavily doped region, and the thickness is 250 to 300 micrometers is the thickness, and the level of doping is 10 raised to 19 centimeter raised to minus 3. That is the level of doping for a, so this is the thickness and this is level of doping. So these are the case for the three layers. So why these three layers are important? Because in the normal diodes, you cannot find these layers. You can only find a P plus region and a, not a P plus region, it is actually a P region. A P region and a N region is only present. But if you observe the case of a power diodes, you can see that there are three layers, P plus layer, N minus layer and N plus layer. P plus and N plus layers are acting as anode and cathode respectively. And N minus layer is actually a drift layer, which is actually determining the breakdown voltage of this diode. So based on the thickness of this N minus layer, the breakdown voltage will also vary. Okay. So this is the case for a power diode, its various layers. Okay. Now if you see the working of a power diode, it is just like the case of a normal diode only. What happens is that when the voltage of the anode, you can see that there are two terminals. There is an anode, there is a cathode. So when the voltage of the anode is higher than that of the cathode, what will happen? The diode will conduct. That is called the forward conducting mode. And the range of forward conducting voltage drop is actually 0.5 volt to 1.2 volt. Okay, so I'll write it here. So in order to make the diode conduct, we have to make the voltage of anode greater than cathode, and the voltage drop when the diode is conducting is 0.5 volt to 1.2 volt is the voltage drop across the power diodes. We know that for a silicon diode it is 0.7 and for a germanium it is 0.3. Just like that, for a power diode, this is the range of voltage drop. There is a forward voltage drop when the diode is conducting. Okay, it is actually small. And also, if you observe the cara, that is the VI cara of a diode, it is almost similar to that of a normal diode. But there is again another cara which is called the reverse recovery cara that you have to study for power diodes. Okay, so next we are going to actually discuss about this VI cara and the reverse recovery cara. So we have to study two caras of power diode, which are IV cara and reverse recovery cara. Okay, so IV cara means we are going to discuss regarding that is a simple current and voltage representation in the forward conduction and in the reverse conduction. Okay, now the reverse recovery current is actually including the leakage current concept and everything. Okay, so first let us see the IV cara. So this is not VI cara, this is IV cara, means current to voltage cara. Okay, so you can see that this quadrant is actually representing the forward conducting quadrant, means the diode is actually conducting. Okay, here you can see that for a after a particular point, the current will shoot up or it will go high because the diode will actually start to conduct. And this drop, this particular voltage drop is called forward conduction drop. This is a simple case of a diode. When the diode's built-in potential or diode's barrier potential, that much voltage is reached, the diode will start to conduct, right? So that is actually happening in this forward quadrant. It is a positive quadrant. Now, this is the negative quadrant. The diode is in reverse bias condition. So even if the diode is in reverse bias condition, there is a small current value. You can see till here, there is a small current flowing, and it is actually due to the minority carriers, or it is a leakage current. Okay, it is not a predominant current, it is a leakage current which is actually due to the minority carriers. But after a point, when we are further increasing the reverse bias voltage, what will happen? Avalanche breakdown will happen, and then the current will shoot up again, and it is due to the avalanche breakdown. So this is the normal diode cara, just as the same of normal diode cara. So next we are going to discuss about the reverse recovery cara. So this reverse recovery cara of the power diodes, we are actually making use so that we are using this power diodes in the snubber circuits and all. Snubber circuit means whenever there is a voltage spike or whenever there is a sudden spike of voltage happening, in order to prevent the damage of the device, we use the snubber circuits and all. Okay, so let us see the reverse recovery. Okay, reverse recovery means here you can see that when the diode is in normal condition, or when it is in forward bias condition, or when the diode is conducting, it is exhibiting the cara same as that of a normal diode, right? So when we are changing the polarity of the voltage, when we are trying to make or apply a reverse potential, that is when we try to turn off the diode, what will happen? The diode's current, this IF is a forward current, it will suddenly go to negative. You can see, even if before settling to 0, it is from this positive value, it is just dropping suddenly to the negative value. Okay, so the current will be suddenly negative. So we have actually reversed the potential or reverse the polarity of the voltage, and we are making the diode to turn off. Okay, so the current will suddenly go to the negative value or to the negative quadrant, and then it will go to the maximum negative value here. And then after that point, then suddenly it will go back and it will reach to 0. Okay, and this particular time period, that is when it will suddenly go to the negative value and then it is reaching a particular value just close to 0, and it is called the reverse recovery time. Now why this current will suddenly drop to negative value is because there are some charge carriers which are being trapped in between the layers. Okay, so these charge carriers which are being trapped or getting stored in between the layers, due to the presence of these charge carriers or due to the flowing of these charge carriers, there is a negative current. Okay, and after a particular time they will completely escape from these layers. Okay, so the charge carriers are actually removed between the or removed from the layers, and then the current will go back. Okay, so that's why there is a negative peak and then going back to almost 0. So here it is actually not going back to 0. We consider that here the current will be 0.25 of this maximum value. Okay, so there is a maximum negative value, and 0.25 it will go back to, or it will actually drop to 0.25 of the negative peak. Okay, and this time is called reverse recovery time. That is the sum of T2 plus T3 is called the reverse recovery time. I hope this concept is clear. Okay, so reverse recovery means the sudden dropping of current to negative value and then recovery from that negative value to a relatively positive value, that is approximately close to 0. You can see clearly it is actually not 0 but close to 0. That is, it is 0.25% of this peak negative value. Okay, so that is the concept. So the reverse recovery time is actually the sum of these T2 and T3. Okay, T2 is actually when the time between the current will jump from a positive value to suddenly to the maximum negative value. You can see this point, I'll mark it there. So this point is actually representing a negative peak, and this point will take approximately equal to 0, but its actual case it is not going to 0. Before going to 0 itself it is going to the negative value. So this time period between this 0 and the negative peak, it is called T2, and in T3 it is again rising from the negative peak to the 0.25 of the negative peak, or 0.25 decay is happening to this negative value. Okay, so this time period, that is T2 plus T3, we take it as TRRR, that is reverse recovery time, and that is equal to the sum of T2 plus T3. Okay, so this concept is actually very important for the case of power diodes, because we don't study this normally for the case of normal diodes. Okay, so this is the reverse recovery process, and this is actually happening in reverse recovery. I'll explain it in brief in 2-3 seconds. So consider that your diode is conducting and we want to turn off the diode. So we apply a negative potential, or we reverse the polarity to make the diode to form as reverse bias. Okay, so what will happen? There will be a sudden drop of the current from a positive value to a negative value, and then it will reach to a peak negative value. Then this change or this negative current is actually due to the presence of some trapped charges or some charges which are getting stored in between the layers of the diode, and after some point these charges will be removed from the semiconductor layers, and due to which the current will go back to a relatively positive value or close to 0. And this time period between the current changing from 0 to again a closer value to 0. So in between this time the current value is actually negative, and this time is called the reverse recovery time. The reverse recovery time TRR is a sum of T2 plus T3, where T2 is a value or the time period when the current is dropping from 0 to a peak negative value, and T3 is the time period when the current is getting decayed actually from a peak negative value to a 0.25 of the peak negative value. Okay, and this time period T2 plus T3 is called reverse recovery time. And you can see that this is actually the current Cara, and the corresponding voltage changes is like this. Okay, so the voltage is forward, then it is going to a peak or the negative value, and then it is coming back. Okay, so the most important part is the current part. Okay, voltage is actually just for showing that what is actually happening to the voltage in these particular points. Okay, so we have discussed regarding the reverse recovery, and also we have discussed about the forward IV Cara also. So the IV Cara is actually just like for the case of a normal diode, and the most important part is the reverse recovery. So whenever I searched for power diodes in the YouTube, I couldn't really find any explanation for reverse recovery over YouTube. A clear explanation I couldn't find. Okay, so I hope that thing gets satisfied through this video. Okay, so that's all about the reverse recovery. Next we are going to see about the advantages, disadvantages, and the applications and the types of power diodes. Okay, so that it will be useful for competitive examinations especially. The types, advantages and disadvantages, and also the applications. Okay, so let us talk about the types first. Then there are mainly three types of power diodes based on the reverse recovery time. That is general purpose, fast recovery, and Schottky diodes. Okay, Schottky diodes is actually a different category of diodes itself. And talking about the general purpose and fast recovery, general purpose diodes have more recovery time, approximately up to 25 microseconds it will go. But for fast recovery diodes, it is having up to approximately 5 microseconds only. So if you want to have a fast recovery, that means if you want to suddenly turn off the diode, or if you want a very less recovery time, means we have to go for the fast recovery one. Okay, so this recovery time or the reverse recovery is actually one of the features which is important while choosing or selecting the diodes. So if you are actually selecting the diode for a particular application, then you should look into the recovery time of that particular diode. Okay, if it is if you want to have a very quick recovery, means we should go for fast recovery diodes. If the recovery time is doesn't matter, I mean it doesn't really affect your application, means you can go for the general purpose one. Okay, so these are the three categories of power diodes based on the recovery time. Now let us see the advantages and disadvantages. So here you can see that the PN junction of the diode, by seeing the layered structure, we have seen that the PN junction is actually large, and due to which it can supply huge current. And we know that the power P is equal to IV. So it can be used for large power rectification applications. Okay, so this is one of the main advantage of the power diodes. It can supply huge current. Okay, due to the large PN junction, the diode can supply huge current. Now again there comes a disadvantage because of this large PN junction. Since the PN junction is large, we know that the PN junction will actually act as a capacitor. Why? Because there is a conducting layer, there is again a conducting layer, in between there is a insulating layer or a depletion layer. So it will have an effect of a capacitor. So there is some capacitance for the power diodes. Again, due to the large PN junction, the capacitance is also large. And due to this capacitance effect, we know that the capacitance and frequency doesn't really get along well. Okay, so when the capacitance is high, means we cannot use it for high frequency applications. So we can only use it for in general cases, we only use for low frequency applications. Okay, again another important thing is that this is a disadvantage actually. It is having large size. So due to this large size, what will happen when large current is flowing through the device? There is a chance for high heat dissipation. So we need to actually connect heat sinks and heat controlling mechanisms to cool down the device. Okay, otherwise it will lead to the damaging of the device. So these are the disadvantages. Okay, now going on to the applications. So we have seen that it is having a large PN junction. It can supply huge current. So it can be used for uncontrolled power rectification. And also it can be used as inverter, AC rectifier, DC power supply, battery charging circuits, etc. And also another important factor is snubber circuits. So we have actually discussed regarding the snubber circuit. So this snubber circuit means these circuits will cut off or will protect the device when there is a sudden voltage spike or when there is a voltage spike happening. In order to protect this devices, we use snubber circuits. Okay. Next, freewheeling diodes. It can be also used as freewheeling diodes. Freewheeling diodes, or we can call it as flyback diodes. Okay, so these flyback diodes are actually used along with inductors. We connect these flyback diodes or freewheeling diodes along with inductor. So when there is a sudden voltage spike happening in the inductor, this freewheeling diodes will protect the inductor or will cut off those voltage spikes. Okay, so it will remove or it will protect the inductor from this sudden voltage spike. Okay, so it is actually used to eliminate those voltage spikes. Okay, so that is the case of a freewheeling diode. So we can use the power diodes as snubber and also freewheeling diodes. So these are the applications. Okay, so that's all about power diodes. I think I've included as much as information as possible, starting from the basic structure, the symbol, the layers and everything, and also we have discussed the CARAs in very detail, and also we have seen the advantages, applications, types and all. Okay, so I'm really hoping that you found the video useful. A lot of people wanted videos on power electronics, so here I'm doing it one by one. So this is the second video which is coming on a topic of power electronics. First video we have actually done based on the introduction of power electronics. So this is the second video. Next video will be posted very soon. Okay, so if you found the video useful, please do give it a thumbs up, also share it with your friends, and if you want more videos, please do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and keep on watching.